Okay, so today we're working with triangles. So we have some definitions first, then we go on some angle theorems to end. Okay? So first thing we need to define is how to define what triangles are. So we have four different types of triangles. We have a scalene, isosceles, equilateral, and a right angle. So scalene triangle. Characteristics there, no equal sides and no equal angles. So the side lengths are all different. As you can see here, this has 1, 2, 3, which indicate they're all different. And plus, all the angles are different. If this was a close-up shot, this would have like 1 ring, 2 rings, 3 rings. So scalene, no equal sides, no equal angles. Okay. Now, you have an isosceles. And you can look here, it has 2 equal sides. And if it has 2 equal sides, it also has 2 equal angles. So 2 equal sides, 2 equal angles. And the angles always occur, how would I say this? Not where the 2 equal sides meet, but the kind of the bottoms of the 2 equal sides. Okay. Now, equilateral triangle has 3 equal sides. And because it has 3 equal sides, it's also going to have 3 equal angles. Therefore, the angles are going to be 60-degree angles. Right? As we'll learn in a couple minutes, triangles come out to 180 degrees. 180 divided by 3, 60. And the last one, a 90-degree triangle, and this is the most obvious thing ever, has a 90-degree in it. Now, there's no hard and fast rule about how many other equal sides, because you could have 2 equal sides there, right? You could have this side and this side be equal, right? Or they could be different. So a right angle could be a scalene or isosceles. There's no way a right angle can be a equilateral because it has a 90-degree angle, and equilateral triangles all have 60-degree angles. So that's the first part. So first theorem here that we're working with, triangle angle theorem. Sum of angles in a triangle theorem. So SAT is all angles in all triangles add to, let me use my pen here because it's more, stands out more. They add to 180 degrees. Okay. So in this case, if I added up 70 plus 60 plus 50, it's going to equal 180. 60 plus 50 equals 110. 110 plus 70 equals 180. Right? So hypothetically, if I was missing this one, and we name that A or whatever along those lines, right? I would say, okay, I would go 180 minus 89 minus 54 equals, I think that number is 37, if not mistaken. And then I would say SATT. So all angles inside a triangle add up to 180. So this is a really neat one that kind of sometimes takes a little bit of time to understand. It kind of takes a little more time to see, but once you see it, it makes your math much easier. Exterior angle theorem. Exterior angles are equal to the sum of the 2 interior angles. To opposite. I'm going to put opposite there. Okay, so not the supplementary angle, but the two other ones. So in this case, this angle plus this angle equal this angle. Okay, so 60 plus 40 equals 100. I'll show you the math of it, right? Because once you see the math, it kind of makes sense. So if we were to say, okay, this equals 180 altogether, right? So 180 minus 60 minus 40 equals 80 degrees. So that means that's 80 degrees. So always these two here, 180 minus these two here, are going to equal this one. But then if you think about it, this is a straight line. So 180 is a straight line minus 80 equals 100, which is also the sum of these two, right? Because if I go 100 minus 180 minus 100, I'll get 80, right? So that's why that kind of works. And once you see it, it'll save you a step, like a little bit, it'll take you a step in math. Because if I didn't have this number, so hypothetically, let's say this number didn't exist. What you would do right now is you would go, okay, these two added up, what you would do is 180 minus 60 minus 70 equals, what's that, 130, right? Which equals 50. So that means that's 50. Now that's a straight line, and you go 180 minus 50 equals 130, right? So that's a two-step solution to get to, right? If I wanted to do this in one step, I'd say, okay, this here equals these two added up. So I just go 70 plus 60 equals 130. And there, I have it right away. So that is, what's that? EAT, exterior angle theorem. Now, I'm going to change this here. This is a key point. The sum of the exterior angles of a triangle are 180. Okay, so just remember that, 180. Sorry, not 180. What am I thinking here? 360. Okay. Now, I'll put a note here, and we'll work on this next lesson. Exterior of any shape is 360. Okay, just keep that in the back of your head. So the exterior angle is always equal to 360. So if you look here, exterior, so I have an equilateral triangle. So if I drew straight lines off all these, 60, 180 minus 60 is equal 120. So if I did 120 plus 120 plus 120, it's going to equal 360. Okay. And if we shift it around here, 60, 80, 40, right? We're going to get 120, 100, and 140. If you add those up, 120 plus 100 plus 140 equals 360. So the outside of the exterior angles of any triangle are going to equal 360. Okay. Now, this one here, two angles in isosceles triangles are equal. So if you look here, isosceles triangle, therefore these two angles here are going to be equal. Isosceles here, the legs of these are going to be equal. Now if I gave you a triangle like this, let's make this a little smaller. I told you that was 30. I asked you to find me what this one was and this one was. You'd say, okay, well this one here is going to be 30 because of ITT, right? Isosceles triangle theorem. These two are going to be equal. And this one here is going to be 180 minus 30 minus 30, okay? Which will equal, what's that, 120, right? And lastly, we kind of did this one, all angles equal angle triangle are 60 degrees. So we're going to work with these with our worksheet now. Okay, last of my redos. So take a look here, simplest question you'll get. How many degrees in a triangle? Well, there's 180. So if we have 180 total, let's minus off the ones we know. It'll give us the one that's remaining. So 100 minus 8, 180 minus 80 is 100, minus 30 equals 70. So that's 70, and that's with SATT. Now here, exact same thing, 180 degrees altogether inside the triangle. So let's minus off what we know. So 180 minus 90 is going to give me 90. 90 minus 40 is going to give me 50. And that is SATT. So next one, we have an isosceles triangle. So an isosceles triangle states that the two angles that are at the bottom of the equal side are the same. So here's our two equal sides. At the bottom of them, not the peak where they meet, but opposites, where they're going to be the same. So that's going to be 30. And that's due to ITT, isosceles triangle theorem. Now if we want to find this one, once again, we have 180 degrees in a triangle. I'm going to minus off the 2 that we know. So 30 and 30 are 60. 180 minus 60 is 120. And that's SATT. Now this one here, we have the peak instead of the two corners. Okay. So my first question is, how many degrees do we have left? Well, we have 180 degrees in a triangle, minus 40, which is going to give us 140 degrees left. So we have 140 degrees that go in between these two corners. Now we know these two corners are equal, right? Due to isosceles triangle theorem, right? Isosceles triangle theorem. So that would mean it's 140, and there's two angles, so we're going to divide this by 2, which is going to equal 70 degrees each. 70 and 70. And there's our answer. Now hypothetically it's SATT as well, because we have to do the first part. Now this one, this looks kind of odd because there's no angles in the middle of the triangle. Well, that's fine, because the outside of a triangle and any shape, any polygon, the outside of the shape is always 360 degrees. No matter if it's 3 sides, 18 sides, 5 sides, the exterior angles is always 360. That's a big hint for tomorrow. So since we have that, well, if it's all this and we have these two parts, let's minus off these two parts to find our one remaining part. So minus 100 minus 100 is going to give me 160. 40 plus 20 is 60, so minus 60 is going to give me 100. So that's going to be 100 degrees, and that is sum of exterior angle theorem, SEAT. So here's the easiest one there is. A equilateral triangle. So equilateral, 3 same sides. Well, it has 3 same sides. 3 angles are also going to be equal. So that is going to be 180 divided by 3, which equals 60. So 60, 60, and 60. And that is ETT, equilateral triangle theorem. Now, here's one of my favorite ones, because it's so easy, and once you learn it, you see it a little bit more than other classes. I mean, it's 2 steps or 1 step. So if I were to do this in 1 step, I'm like, okay, these 2 angles here add up to this angle out here. Okay, so 80 plus 40 equals 120. That means that's going to be 120. Okay, and that is exterior angle theorem. Now, with that being said, let's prove it mathematically. I forget if I did in my note. But if we look at this, how many degrees in a triangle? It was 180, right? So this angle here is the remainder of what's left here. So 180 minus 80 minus 40 is going to equal 60, right? So this is a straight line. That equals 180, right? Now, a triangle also equals 180. So if you take these two, right, and you take it off 180, you're going to get this number. Just as if this straight line is 180, if you take this part off of it, you're going to get 180. Now, we have two things to figure out here. Well, number one, let's figure out this part. Okay, so 60 and 20 are going to add up to this. 60 plus 20 equals 80. So that's going to be 80. And that is our exterior angle theorem. Now this here is a straight line. You could either do a straight line or you could do SATT, so sum of interior triangle. So sum of angles of triangle theorem. So either one, you're going to get either 180 minus 80 equals 100. If you want to do this one, if you want to do sum of exterior angle, sum of triangles, you're going to go 180 minus 60 minus 20, which also equals 100. Right? So you could use SATT, or you could use SAT, right? Supplementary angle. So let's start putting these together a little bit. Okay, so let's find this one first. No reason, I just think it's convenient. Well, this is a straight line, so I'm going to go 180 minus 50 equals 130. 130, and that's with what? SAT. Now, well, if I look here, I have two exterior angles and I have a third one, right? So I could use that and go, well, my exterior angles are equal to 360. 360 minus 130 minus 110 is going to equal, well, that's 40, so 120. There's going to be 120 here. Okay, and that would be what? Exterior angle theorem. Now to find this one here, I'm actually going to use this angle. So I know that this angle is this one plus this one. So to go backwards, if I'm missing this one, I could go 110 minus 50 equals x. So that would equal 60 equals x. If I wanted to do it fully, I go 110, like the original line would be 50 plus x equals 110, and then move it over. You could find that in many different ways. You could do straight line here with 120. 180 minus 120 equals 60. You'd work from there. If you really want to do the long way, you find what this equals, right? You can find, oh, that equals 70, and add these two up. Or 360 minus this plus this, which is 120. So there's lots of ways to get there. There's no right way. There's only wrong answers, hypothetically, but there's no right way. You can do it lots of different ways. So this one here. Mom, how should we attack this? How I'm going to attack is I'm going to find this angle first. So it's 140. 140. Actually, I got a better idea. Let's do it. We'll do it this way, then we'll do it a different way. So 180 minus 140 equals 40. And that would be SAT, supplementary angle. Then I know these two are going to be equal. So I go, this is the same question as above. 140 minus that equals 140. 180 minus 40 equals 140. 140 divided by 2 is 70. Easier way to do it, if you think about exterior angles, this angle is going to equal this one plus this one. So 140 equals, and realistically, those are the same angle. So you go x plus x. So 140 equals 2x, as in both of these, x, since they're equal. So we're just going to divide by 2. 70 equals x. And you get the same answer. Right, last one. Let's take a look here. I want to find this angle as well here. Let's write it in red so you can really see it. So I want to find that angle. Well, let's find this one first. And if you look, I have an isosceles triangle, which means this is equal to this. So that is 50. That's through ITT. Now, I can't get over there right away, but I can find this straight line. I could make this a straight line and find this one, which would be 180 minus 50, which equals 130. So that's 130. Now I have an isosceles triangle again, right? So it means this end is equal to this one. So that means I'm going to split what's remaining off of this. So I go 180 minus 130, which is going to equal 50. So that's how many degrees I have remaining. But I need to share it between two angles equally. So I can go 50 divided by 2 equals 25. That can be through ITT as well. Although this one here is through SAT. So I found that. Okay, hopefully that was nice for you. Triangle stuff, it's pretty, once you get, the key is just practicing so you see it. And once you see it, it's pretty, hopefully it's pretty easy to see for you and you just apply the law. Okay, have a great night.